Play is the show where we talk about video games every week. I'm Ashley.
I'm Nick.
I'm Adam.
I'm John.
Why are you laughing already, John?
Because of Adam's face.
What does that mean?
He started the
Does
show
he
off
have a face?
just smiling deadpan at the camera.
What can I say?
Very Adam. Want to say a quick thank you to Skillshare and Beachbody for sponsoring this update. We'll talk more about them in a little bit. They are helping me out a bunch right now. But before we get into all of that, there's going to be a lot we talk about this week. We're going to talk about some potential Pokémon leaks that may have outed a lot of the major features of the Switch Pokémon game. Cliff Bleszinski's Boss Key Studios shut down.
Rest in peace.
Xbox just unveiled a new accessibility controller, which is pretty awesome. And then also, the embargo is up on State of Decay too, so I can talk about that a little bit. But before all of that action-packed news and current events talk, what you guys been playing?
Who's starting?
You want to start? You start.
Yeah, I'll start. I've been playing a little bit of Smash Brothers, a little bit of Sea of Thieves. Literally nothing has changed since the last time I was on the show.
Wow, it's
Which
been like
Smash Brothers?
The Wii U one.
Okay.
Yeah. In preparation for the Switch one, because you know it's got to be at least kind of similar, right?
You know, I feel one.
I mean,
always
yeah.
they're always a little similar.
Little bit.
But there was an interesting stat that just came out. The new Donkey Kong game, well, new-ish, Tropical Freeze, has been out on Switch for 2 weeks now and has already outsold lifetime Wii U sales.
Man.
Oh,
At this point, they just need to. Oh yeah, that came out.
Oh, dude, I've been like totally out of it. I need to get that because I never played it.
You've
on
just
Wii
been
U.
busy
hold on.
vibrating with your sub pack.
I love vibrating.
You never played Tropical Freeze?
No.
Incredible game.
I think I'd played like the first couple levels, so I never bought it.
Oh my God, it's like one of the best platformers I've ever played.
I got
Every
some
level
travelers
is its
too.
own unique idea, and if that doesn't sell you on it, then I don't know what will.
Pretty.
You owe it to
I
yourself.
love Donkey Kong Country like with all my heart.
What
so.
is your sub pack?
We'll talk about it.
No, don't.
I'm
I
not
want to
gonna
know
tell-
now.
We can be organic. You can talk about your vibrations.
Subpack is basically there's two kinds. There's one that you strap on as a backpack, one that you put to the seat back of your chair.
Okay.
And basically you hook up your audio input to it, and it will pump bass through you. It uses transducers to
Like a
vibrate.
subwoofer.
Like a subwoofer, but with no noise. So
But you wear it.
The point is that you either wear it or you lean back into it, and you're feeling the bass as if you were at a concert. But I use it for gaming.
And how does it add to your gaming experience?
You fucking feel everything.
Especially the fucking.
Especially the fun. It's crazy. It's so awesome.
It gets right up inside you.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Nick. I'm sorry.
No, that's about all I've been playing. That's the real life game of wedding preparations.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
that's fun.
You are a
That's
better
not a fun
player
game.
than I am.
Well, it's all thanks to my fiance. So thank you, Christine. She's been playing that game much better than I've been.
I'm terrible at that game. I can't. I plan one thing, and that's E3. And that's it. That wears me out for the rest of the year. I'm very sorry, Bernie. We'll get that taken care of.
To give you guys some perspective on Tropical Freeze, it's sold around 90,000 copies in its first week on sale in Japan alone, which is roughly 3 times what the Wii U did over its entire lifespan.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy.
a lot.
Yeah.
So more people have Switches than we used, is what you're telling me.
Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it is. I
Interesting
mean,
fact,
what did the Wii U do lifetime? 13, 14, something like that? Switch passed 17 in its first year.
Yeah.
So it's
Switch might
it's
be
no
better.
surprise. So it's still that's about the right number, Ben?
Yeah, 13.56 million.
Okay. Good
Yeah.
job, Brain.
Do you think if you could take just the Wii U gamepad with you, the Wii U would have been a better system?
Yeah.
Much better.
I think one of the problems was the gamepad had like a 2-hour battery life max, and granted the Switch has like a 3 to 6 hour battery life, so it's not amazing. I would love to see.
Well, but the
it
gamepad
get
was your
better
primary
over time.
control mechanism for the fucking system.
Right. You didn't have it was very limited without it. They marketed it like you could hook up 2 gamepads, but that was kind of a pain. A second gamepad was super expensive anyway. Could you even get them separate? I think
For the longest time, you
I think
we
there
just had a second Wii U eventually because from when I moved in with Bernie, and then we just had these 2 gamepads, and we're like, I don't know what we
you
do
never
now.
could hook up 2 gamepads to one Wii U, could you? Like they said that feature was coming. They said it like twice, but
They
no
might have
game ever
added
used
something
it.
like that, but yeah, no game took advantage of it. And the process, I seem to recall trying to get it going, and it was completely opaque. Just trying to, it was not worth it remotely. You know, not that you can hook multiple Switch screens up either. But it doesn't say that you can, so it's different. But it's done so much better just in its first year than the lifetime Wii U sales that it's not surprising that it would have outsold it lifetime just given the install base. But that quickly, that's something.
Yeah.
We keep wondering why we're getting Wii U re-releases on Switch. That's why they'll sell this time. They were good games the first time around, but that it didn't get them played.
Yep.
I've said for the longest time that if they ever put Tropical Freeze on Switch, I would double dip on the game so hard, but it's like $10 more than it was when it
Is it
released.
$50?
It's $60 on Switch.
$60.
It
Wow.
launched at 50 on Wii U.
$60 for a Tropical Freeze?
Yeah. I mean, if you've never played the game, it's easily worth it,
One of
but
those
all you
games
get, you
that's
get.
never gonna go on sale either.
Here's the real
I know that
question.
game.
Can you hook up bongos?
Ooh, that's a question. I don't think you
bongos? Oh,
maybe you
yeah.
could, but I don't think it would do anything.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not.
But we could try it
Could always try it.
if I can find some bongos. There's bongos somewhere.
RT
is a big enough place. We've got bongos somewhere.
Yeah, there's bongos
That's the one
in a
controller I've
cupboard.
not seen here. We have everything else.
Bongos?
For sure.
We'll ask animation. I'll bet someone in animation's got
Someone,
bongos.
yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah. I dove more deeply into Pillars of Eternity 2.
You also started playing Persona again.
I did. I did talk about that last week. I held my
Are you still? How
my
many miles are you up to
admission.
now?
Let's see, in terms of hours, I kind of got sick earlier this week, so I took a break, and I've also been having trouble with my foot. So I've only done maybe 3 days on the treadmill, 6 hours, 18 miles over the last week.
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad.
You go 6 hours on the treadmill.
No, I'm saying like I try and do 2-hour sessions.
Oh, okay.
And I walk 3.5 miles an hour, but I count just
So you
3.
just walk for 2 hours playing Persona.
It's the best. You don't even see the time go by. And the best part about it too is Persona is so cutscene heavy that you'll go, okay, cool, about 10 minutes left to go. I'm gonna wrap this up, and then like a 20-minute like cutscene sequence starts, and you're like, hey, it's fine, I can walk for another 10 minutes. And it turns out you can. But I had this problem last time I started trying to train up running.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the spring chicken I once was.
Yeah.
And I was overtraining, basically. I think I got plantar fasciitis.
That's fun.
I don't know. So basically, my foot started hurting every time I put pressure on it.
That's super good.
It's not great.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because that's
You need those
generally
feet.
what you do with feet is you put weight on them. And
That's what they're there for.
right,
Supposed to be.
stupid feet. Has anyone told them this?
Wait,
so-
sorry, I interrupted. You were playing another game.
Pills are.
Were you telling me you don't want to hear about my plantar fasciitis?
I don't want to hear about plantar fasciitis. I want to hear about the other game.
Okay, well then I'll just do the short version. I found some nice foot stretches and I think I'm okay this time.
Great.
So I started playing Pillars of Eternity 2. Well, I had started it last week. That's when it came out, but it was very early on, so I didn't want to weigh in too much. Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. It's a follow-on to, believe it or not, Pillars of Eternity.
Interesting.
And it picks up after the first game, so it is a proper sequel, but you don't have to have played the first one. If you have, you can import a save, and it will take through some of the world variables. Otherwise, it just lets you kind of pick from a couple things like, what did you do? Were you a good guy? Were you a bad guy? And then it will sort of populate the world and the different conversations where your past actions would have been brought up.
Do they give you context for those choices, or are they just like, did you side with A or B?
Kind of. They're like, I did good and helped people wherever possible. I was rational, firm, but fair. Or like, I was out for number one.
Yeah.
Or it's basically a personality thing. It doesn't say necessarily I was the baddest dude I could be,
Right.
but just sort of what your personality would have been.
Some games like Witcher, when you go to 3, and if you didn't have your save from 2, it asks you those questions, but it really gives you no context. It's like, hey, did you side with Vernon or Yarvith? And you're like, I don't remember those characters.
There's a million characters in those games.
I mean, Vernon, obviously.
No, Roach. I mean, Yorvith. Yes.
Yeah.
Roach the horse.
No, Vernon Roach is
I
a guy.
always
Roach is
sided with
Roach is all of Geralt's. Roach is every single one of Geralt's horses, not just one horse.
Right.
He has many horses. They've all been named Roach. If you didn't know.
Okay, thank
What's
you.
your fact for the day?
Thank you.
Wait, come back tomorrow. I'll give you another one.
So it's a pretty traditional. It's a CRPG. It's very like Baldur's Gate style
Cool.
game. So if you're
That stands for cool RPG.
yeah, it does stand for cool RPG. That's right. God damn it, John. It's the first and last time on Glitch Please. I can tell you that right now.
It's been fun, John.
I like
Great
to
10 minutes.
I like to really test if people want me on their show the first time I'm on it. You know, that way I know if they ask me back, they really did want me.
Did we?
Was he just one of the guys available who plays Pokemon? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, look, when we get to Pokemon, that's gonna be a fun discussion.
I'm excited about that.
But yeah, Pillars of Eternity 2 is a lot of fun if you like that kind of game.
Okay.
It was crowdfunded. It's one of those kinds of games that I'm grateful for the current variety of financial models available, because things like that, like Divinity Original Sin, also crowdfunded.
Oh, I didn't know that was
kind of-
crowdfunded.
They're the kind of games that would have probably a lot of trouble selling to some of the big publishers, because they're not super commercial these days. They're more of a niche genre.
Yeah.
They're a throwback to ye old RPG days. So much fun if you're into that kind of game. They feel very much like you're running through a D&D campaign, but
Very
you get to
specific
see it.
demographic and market.
Yes. But fortunately, I'm the demographic and I'm
are.
being served.
You are.
So thanks to crowdfunding. Really enjoying it. A lot of fun. But if I had to pick right now between Divinity Original Sin 2 and Pillars of Eternity 2, I'd probably go for Divinity, because it does have co-op, and there's a definitive edition coming out in
Man,
August.
that's like on my short list of games to get back to. I just need to play it in co-op is the problem. So
Yeah.
one day I gotta go back to it.
Well, in Gus's room, Achievement Hunter set up like a whole like streaming setup with I think
no,
a bunch
Tech
of.
set that up. Thank
I'm
you
sorry.
very much.
Tech set it
Thank
up,
you, Ben and Hudson, for all your hard work.
and so maybe we can muscle in on some of that.
3 months of setup. Oh fuck yeah, we can. I'll give us permission right now. Done.
See, we went through all the proper channels.
There we go, right here live.
Yeah, did you ever get into CRPGs, Nick?
No, I never really did. I'm not really a huge RPG guy. Like, I was into Pokemon back in the day, and I played me some Fire Emblem, which is RPG-ish.
Yeah, tactical.
Tactical, there you go. But if I may not commit a sin, if I may admit to a sin,
You can also commit a sin, that's fine.
not this time. I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
Whoa! Okay, well.
I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
Oh, thank you, John. I'm not alone.
I'm sandwiched by heathens!
Yeah, never played a single one. You ever played Super Mario RPG? That's a good RPG.
I played it for 5 minutes.
What? It's a great RPG.
I never owned a Super Nintendo.
Oh.
I went from NES to 64. I never had the 16-bit, so there's only so much I could
My
do.
first Final Fantasy was an MMO. Is that bad?
I mean, I'll allow it.
And then I played 15. 15 was really good.
15 I've heard great things about.
It's just very pretty.
It is very
It has so
pretty.
much character, man.
I played
and the
RuneScape.
food in it.
I played RuneScape in middle school.
Good job.
Oh, yes.
All right,
That's about it for RPGs for me.
we ran down the entire list.
Most of it.
What's your genre? You have to say you have a
Gosh,
genre.
open world games and fighting games. I love.
Open world games, but not RPGs.
Oh,
Right.
No, I played
like-
Skyrim. I played Skyrim. How did I forget Skyrim?
Okay.
I played the crap out of Skyrim. That's a great game.
That's an RPG.
Yeah, that is.
But when you say RPG, it seems like you're thinking more Japanese RPG, turn-based,
Yeah,
Turn-based.
yeah,
or
that's-
like isometric.
Sure, yeah, that's kind of more what
The
I was
nerdy
thinking.
version of
Okay.
RPG.
There,
Yes.
there we go. There we go.
Okay.
I play the filthy casual RPGs.
Same.
That's kind.
And-
John? do you
Me?
play- do you
Why
play games?
are we skipping to me?
I'm just curious if you play games. Do you have anything you're talking about?
Why you gotta throw the shade like that? Okay, I play video games.
That's not what I meant. That's not
Yeah,
what I meant.
no, you are throwing shade.
No.
That's
Maybe,
all I heard.
maybe a little bit.
I was just giving you. Do you want to talk about games you're playing or not?
Yeah, what games am I playing? So I just finished Subnautica.
Very
you
nice.
finished that game?
Yes. Well, yeah. You can leave the planet.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know there was an end objective. I thought that was just a scary ass game.
No, there's like basically 2 end objectives. The final one you can't accomplish until you finish the other big end objective, because there's a thing that if you were to try to leave the planet, this thing would shoot you down. So you have to like solve that problem, and then you can like build your rocket and get out of there.
So you've done both those objectives.
Yeah.
That's
Sweet.
fucking awesome.
Took a while, but it was super fun.
How many hours would you say you put into it before you?
Maybe not as like a super crazy amount, like maybe 30.
Oh, okay.
That's actually less than I thought. I would
Yeah.
have expected for everything that I hear about this game. I know Ryan's played Subnautica a lot, also really liked
Yeah.
it.
It's
I
definitely
expected hundreds of hours.
Yeah, I mean you could. It's because there's a much more robust like base building system in there that I never really cared to divulge into. It's kind of like people who played Fallout 4 and love to spend all their time making their base. I was like, no, I want to play the story and get to the story and everything like that. Finished Subnautica. I've given up on Fortnite because I suck at it and hate it, and
Really?
I've gone back to PUBG. Which PUBG's got some new updates that I hadn't played, and so that was kind of fun. Some new guns.
They got Thanos in there. Yeah.
They got Thanos and PUBG. No, I've
Left Fortnite
I
and PUBG.
hate Fortnite. It's terrible, and I'm done trying.
Is it terrible or are you terrible?
Why do you think it's terrible?
Here's why it's terrible. And actually, like, yes, it is partially due to the fact that I'm not very good at it. But here's the problem: is that some games you're not good at, you can still play a lot of. Like, I'm
course.
not that great at CS:GO, but I can jump into games and keep playing a bunch of games. Fortnite, because of how fast you can just die and then the rounds take forever to restart, there's a lot of time where you're like, all right, I'm playing for about 5 seconds. Oh, I died because someone found me because the map is really small. And it's not like big like PUBG where you can avoid people to a certain extent or like miss people. And then now I have to get out of the lobby, find a new lobby. All right, now we're in the waiting part of the lobby. All right, now we're in the party bus. All right, now we're waiting for the party bus to go where we want to land. All right, now I have to land. Okay, now I can start looting and play the game. Oh, I just died again. Cool, I'm gonna start that process again.
Isn't that kind of the same with PUBG though?
PUBG's just much more drawn out, I think, as far as like play time, as far as like, it's just a much slower paced style of Fortnite. Fortnite is fast-paced PUBG. It's what it is.
Although PUBG does have the new smaller
They do.
map,
And I
where
played that.
it is more fast.
I played that map, and I like that better mainly because I'm better at PUBG. So then, therefore, it's a lot more fun to play that version as well.
The desert one, right?
The desert one's their new map, but they have like a small island one that is Fortnite-esque.
Yeah,
Okay.
most of the maps are 8x8, and they put out a 4x4. So
Yeah.
it's basically
Oh, wow.
quarter of the size.
Yeah.
And so it speeds up the mid game.
Yeah, and that actually I think that actually went live last night. I think there was like a server update notice last night that it was supposed to put that map live. They had a test server, and I played the experimental server on it. But yeah, so playing that, and I've been back into Pokemon Go.
Really?
Yeah.
What got you back into it?
They, Andy Blanchard. But they
Andy.
added a bunch of stuff, including a whole set of quests to get a Mew. I got a Mew.
Congratulations.
It's like, how do the quests work? 'Cause
It's-
I haven't
it's like-
played the game since it
It's-
really dropped off.
Yeah, that's these research quests that there's like daily research ones that you get when you spin a Pokestop, and it's just like, hey, catch 3 of this Pokemon or make 5 curveball throws, and that you can turn in for just like items. And then there's the Mew ones, which is there's 8 sets of these 3 objectives you have to do. Once you get through those 8 sets, then you get to catch a Mew. And so it's stuff like as simple as stuff like that, or as hard as like find a Ditto, evolve a Magikarp, fight 10 raids, that kind of thing. So it gets like harder and harder as you go up, and then once you get to the very end, then you get to catch a Mew, and I got one. And now I got a Mew. Now I want to do the Mewtwo one as well.
Is there a Mewtwo one?
There's a Mewtwo one where it's not a set of quests. It's that you have to go to raids, win the raids, and then someday down the line, sometime, Mewtwo visits gyms, and you will get notified if you won at that raid that Mewtwo is there, and you can go get him. So the only way you can get a Mewtwo is if you raid a bunch and like almost like take over a bunch of places around the city. And luckily we're in Austin. There's a ton of places to raid and that kind of thing. And even if you want to go solo, you can find like Magikarp raids and Sableye raids and that kind of thing. Some stuff you can solo. So I want a Mewtwo now.
Is Mew like significantly more powerful than
It could be. Mine was a pretty low level one. He was like 1300 CV or CP or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be like there would be a huge disparity.
Right. You would think, but honestly, for me. I like the finishing Pokedex. Like I'm at one.
Totally.
I'm at 148 of 151 for Kanto.
That's not bad.
And the only things I need left is I gotta go to Japan and get a Farfetch'd, and then I gotta get an Articuno and a Mewtwo.
I think I went to Japan and did not get a Farfetch'd.
Yeah, so did Donnie on a trip. He didn't catch me either. I caught only one Mr. Mime on a trip to London. And then I've got a Kangaskhan from Australia.
Didn't I get you that Kangaskhan?
No, you definitely didn't do that because that's not how you play the game.
Right.
I went to RTX Sydney and have a Kangaskhan.
I remember. Okay. Never mind. I thought this is all not. They're telling the not truth. Gotcha. Understood.
But yeah.
You can rewrite history.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been playing that.
This is how out of the loop I've been. Did they ever add trading to Pokemon
No,
Go?
still
You
no.
Still haven't?
Still no trading.
That's half of what Pokemon is.
Yeah, still no trading. They've added a bunch of stuff, but still way no trading.
I think.
Man.
But it's funny that you guys say like it's strange that you're playing Pokemon Go, but we're going to talk about Pokemon later, and a lot of the rumors is that Go elements are going to be integrated into the game.
Yeah, and that is going to be very polarizing, I think.
Oh yes.
See, like this one.
Listen, I loved Pokemon Go for like a month or two, but at a certain point, like I want to play video games on my couch.
I don't think it'll be like
it's like
Pokemon
that.
Go where it's traveling, but I think there's going to be game mechanics in Pokemon Go that are going to be implemented into the Pokemon game that you'll still play on your couch.
But what?
We'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it.
All right.
It's gonna
cool.
be this
I
will
did
be
not
like
pay-
a
I
whole
did not pay
breakdown.
attention
I've got a whole
story.
summary that
Yeah.
of what everyone's talking about.
I do foresee myself playing the Harry Potter Go game when
Yeah.
that comes out.
I don't think
Because
so.
I really love Harry Potter.
Yeah, I looked at the game and I read about it, and it doesn't sound like something I'm going to care for, and also just it looks like poo.
Is this the
Is that the one?
Hogwarts
It's a mobile
mystery
game.
one?
Yeah. No.
Is this
no,
the-
it's
this
just-
isn't the one where
no.
the kid gets strangled for 20 minutes?
Oh yeah, and
Get your
you got to
energy
pay
back?
money to save the
No,
kid.
Hogwarts Mystery is
Saw about
a
that.
separate one. I believe there's a Harry Potter but Niantic game coming out. Am I wrong?
Oh, I don't know about that.
No,
Harry
I
Potter
think
Wizards
you're right.
Unite.
What's that?
It's Harry Potter Wizards Unite.
Yeah.
Apparently is what it
Wizards
is.
Unite.
It's by Niantic?
Yes, it's coming out in the later half of 2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harry Potter's gone a little bit nuts on licensing. It seems like there's like 5 different mobile
Yeah.
games.
It sucks. I hear that the mystery one's good, but the microtransactions are not good.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, two separate things, but yeah.
Yeah. So you've been playing
I'm playing
Elite.
Elite Dangerous. So like, yeah, I was trying to find games to play with my sub pack, and Elite was on that list.
You okay, John?
Yes.
So
You sound like you need a fix.
Dude.
Like, I got to feel that, that bass.
it's like
You missed
when you get
last
when you get a
week.
new peripheral, like I don't know, I want to see what use I can get out of it, and this
Right.
is one of those things where, all right, it makes sense to have my seat shaking when I'm in a fucking spaceship. So if you don't know, Elite came out like 3.5 years ago. It's an old ass game. It is a space simulation. It is not a space action game.
Is there like build features
No.
and like that kind of thing? So it's all fighting.
No, it's a space simulation. It's imagine a simulator.
So it's flight simulator in space.
Imagine this.
It's a simulator of you in a spaceship, and so it's like, what would that situation be like? They have procedurally generated the Milky Way galaxy.
Sounding more and more like
I'm
No
kinda
Man's
getting-
Sky.
It's kind of like
I'm
it is-
kind of getting sold on this.
There is some No Man's Sky stuff. So they've made their name for the fucking procedural generation engine, I think, is called Stellar Forge, which is the dopest name.
That's pretty good.
For anything. But okay, the game has like the steepest learning curve ever. I played this game about a year ago because I tried it in VR and was totally blown away, but I could not get over the learning curve. I played 15 hours, and I was like, I still don't know what I'm doing. And I came back to it, and I was like, well,
You're
this
really
is,
selling this game, Adam.
Dude, the thing is that I don't know. I'll summarize by the end, but I came back, sat down, and in VR, that is far and away the best VR experience that there is to have.
Better than Beat Saber?
It's better than anything. It's honestly like the most immersive. Listen, in the past week, that's 6 days, I put 35 hours into it.
That's
Pretty good.
respectable.
I've worked as much as I've played. So
Have you seen your fiance?
She's not my fiance.
Oh, girlfriend.
But she is at home, and I've seen her many times. Yes.
I forget
Thank
who's
you very much.
engaged. Everyone's engaged or dating or not dating. I don't know. I just need you all to wear name tags.
Sure thing.
I don't know
Wait
anymore.
until we get that.
You bought a house together, and so I'm like, hey, they have a house together, and they have cats as well.
That means we're definitely engaged.
I don't know.
We got a cat family.
That's a light.
You might just be roommates for all I know at this point.
So what am I saying? Me and Grace flew a spaceship together. So I sat down and I finally decided I was going to get over the learning curve, and to do that, I streamed it so I could have help from the community because that was the only way.
Oh, that
I was
is
gonna get
definitely
over
a good way to like fix being bad at a game is have an entire audience of people.
It was
Everyone
great.
backseat gaming.
They look
all
up
at
stuff
once.
for you.
It's honestly, it's been fantastic. So like, it started off with me just like trying to figure out the goddamn controls because like the first,
That's not good.
well, dude, the first like 15 hours of that game is just like figuring out like how do I even go to another system? Like how
That's
do I-
like half of the time I spent in Subnautica and not knowing the controls.
I'm not apologizing for this game's this game's learning curve is unbelievable, but I finally started to get into it. I've bounty hunted with friends, super fun. You can go to like asteroid belts and you'll find, and we're just doing PvE. We're not on the open. You can do open servers, private groups, or solo play. And we're doing a private group and just fighting against NPCs because apparently in open play it's like a playground for people that have played the game for 5,000 hours and want to kick your ass.
And no controls.
But yeah, exactly. But flying around with a HOTAS in VR with the sub pack is like, it's got to be the best experience I've had in VR ever.
Well, and one of the cool things about this is that do you have the specific HOTAS that's set up in the game?
Yeah.
So
I need a picture of you in this whole setup.
I'm sure you look awesome.
VR with HOTAS.
I sent a picture to Grace of me in it, and I was like, just a reminder, you have the coolest boyfriend ever.
I need a picture of you. I need Grace to take a picture of you in the full setup at the desk, like just completely doing your
Dude,
thing.
it's so good.
the closest we've got right now is, do we still have the picture from last week of Adam
I
in
think
his
that's even better.
Beat Saber get up?
Oh, man, that's-
Because Beat Saber is something else. Beat Saber is like
Yeah, I know what Beat Saber
the
is, but
Jedi
what's your
music
getup?
VR game.
So
Oh.
with the sub pack, I got a backpack with it that you can put the sub pack into and strap it on, so like you can wear it in
Do you look
VR.
like a Ghostbuster?
Yeah, kind of like a nerdy
the
Ghostbuster.
nerdiest Ghostbuster
No,
of all time.
you
Or a
could
turtle
definitely
or
draw
something.
some Ghostbuster parallels to that. It's really funny. So in Elite, I did some bounty hunting, super fun. I finally upgraded my ship, and by the time I got to the ship upgrade, it was probably like 20 hours into my second time learning the game, and that was the moment I was like, okay, I think I'm fully hooked.
So
But
after 20 hours of investment, you started having fun.
But my,
I'm not
All
listening.
right,
I'm
so
not gonna.
here's the setup of Adam. Here, you can see.
You look awesome.
Thanks, man.
You look like you're going spelunking or something. Like you're going on some kind of outdoorsy adventure.
it's pretty good, but I
Imagine
need to
basically that with the HOTAS.
That's what I need to see with the visor down, everything, just like with like noise canceling headphones, like
Yes.
just sensory deprivation.
Yes. It's so good. So in Elite, there's things you can do like bounty hunting. The game has been drawn similarities between this and Euro Truck Simulator. So if you want to be a space trucker, like a lot of the game, you can spend your time just like trucking between systems. I've found that just exploring is super fun and rewarding because you can fly around to different systems. And to give you an idea of how big the game is, it's been out for 3.5 years. It has even now like 5,000 active players at any given time.
That's good.
And only 0.02% of the or so of the universe has been, or the galaxy has been discovered.
Dang.
What's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point of having that big of a universe? What's the point?
It's because it
Marketing.
feels-
So you can say that
it
all that
feels-
stuff is true.
And it was procedurally generated, so it's fine.
It's great, man. Like you can go to a star system and you can have
Like half that big.
You can have your name. You can have your name on like a whole system. Be like, it was discovered by John Reisinger. And it's fucking cool. Like, and there's
And no one will ever see it.
no one but you. And that's totally fine.
Perfect.
Like,
There you go.
just the simulation of being in a spaceship and like how genuine it feels to that experience is great.
If I buy it, will you play with me?
Yes, but you're gonna have to like commit to like a learning curve.
That's what I'm saying. If I buy it, play it a bunch, and I'm able to like keep up, will you play with me?
I'll help you learn. But
Yeah?
you really do. Like, it is a learning fucking curve.
You'll
I'll
know
tell
he's
you,
not saying
I'm,
yes,
I'm
John.
telling you, like, when I first played this game, I was like, there's no way I'm ever getting over this learning curve. After 15 hours, like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
And even still, I'm not over the learning curve. I've just crossed the first like hump.
Okay.
And I'm competent enough to now play it, basically. And you do need a HOTAS. There's like no way around that.
What do you mean there's no way around that?
I mean, you can use a controller. Apparently, keyboard and mouse is pretty much unplayable.
I have a controller.
Controller you could use. There's a lot of controls in this game.
Okay.
Like, too many controls.
I'm not getting a HOTAS.
I think
It's fine. You play at your own peril.
I think Gus has a HOTAS. Maybe you can borrow his HOTAS.
I'll borrow Gus's HOTAS.
But man, I can't say enough good things about that game. I can see like the complaints about that game are primarily like people want more out of it. Like it is a simulation. It is a giant sandbox, and after there might not be the content that everyone wants in it. But there's so much that I love about it. Just like the experience of being in space. That like last night I was going around and I was finding like little signals that I would stop at, and there would just be an exploded ship, and I would just salvage their cargo. And like you have a cargo scoop, and the process is literally like you get a little like 2D display, and you like glide your ship over to it, and you kind of just like run your cargo scoop over it, and you pick up the item. And it's like I don't know why that shouldn't be fun, but the experience of doing it is fun.
It sounds like really complicated Sea of Thieves in space.
It's very complicated.
But there's stuff to do.
But there's stuff.
there's
Sounds like a really complicated
there's something
Super
to
Smash
see.
Brothers in space.
You can
you go.
also land on like non-atmospheric planets, which is most of the planets, or not most, I'd say like half. And from there you can get out, and you can't walk around, but you have an SRV, which is like an all-terrain vehicle.
Yeah.
And
Do you have a body?
you do. I should have given footage of this, but if you're playing in VR and you take your headset off and you go like this and you spin it around, you don't have a head. So
Oh, like the reflection?
no, like. Because your head is your camera, so if you take it and you spin it around, your body does not have anything on it.
Oh, yeah, you take your VR headset and yeah.
But if you go to one of the real cameras, never mind.
Maybe it's just bent back really back, like in the Fallout thing where like when someone got the camera of how that angle is when you're coming up out of the shelter, and it's you like looking at the sun, but if you actually take the camera away from there, the head is like snapped back and out of the way. It's really weird. You should look at that footage, and then it pops up.
I can't concept what you're telling me, so I'll have to look at it. The game is very polarizing, and that's clear because if you look at the reviews on Steam, they're 100% mixed. So it's like it's not either you love it or you hate it. It's like you have to be a very specific kind of person to love it. You have to want a game that feels like you're just exploring space, either on your own or with friends. And
Is it a game you could watch Netflix while you're playing?
So I've actually found a way to take a Netflix browser and drop it in the game. In VR.
Like
Yeah.
picture-in-picture?
So I'm just space trucking and I can watch like Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's awesome.
That is my jam
That's
right now.
actually
Is if
cool.
I can have a game that I can just zone out and play while watching
It is
Netflix.
100% that game.
Yes, I'm sold.
So on top of that,
All it took was for you to want to watch something
No,
instead of while
all
you're
it took.
playing it?
No, I was already sold on it, but it's just my jam right now. Like if you ask like what kind of games I like to play right now, I like to play games that like. That's why I think I was playing Subnautica, was that you just kind of are just swimming around underwater, gathering resources, and I've got like Frasier reruns up over here, that kind of thing, you know.
so, what the fuck was I gonna say? There's also something in the game called voice attack, not in the game. Something you can add on to the game.
Voice attack?
So that's a software that is used for it's like voice input basically.
Is this just you
And it's-
screaming in your house?
It's configurable to Elite Dangerous. Sorry, my niece.
Grace is
You
just
can
coming
say,
home.
like-
You're in this full get-up, yelling.
Ship
Ship stop,
I told
ship
her about
stop.
that. She's like, you have to fucking set that up. That's so cool. I'm like, all right, cool.
So you say like torpedo, it launches a
Well,
torpedo.
yeah,
something
basically
like
like ship engage Super Cruise, and then you can.
It's Siri for
you
your
can-
game.
You can either download a pre-made profile, or you can configure one yourself, and you can have it give you voice responses, and you can use speech to or text-to-speech robot voice. But then there's another thing called HCS, which I can't remember what that stands for, but there are voice packs that have thousands and thousands of responses that are VO'd by people like William Shatner. So you can have William Shatner as your robot voice in your ship. And you can be like, computer requests docking permission. And he'll be like, sure thing, I'm William Shatner. Or whatever. Like there's a bunch of those voices. There's like the level of immersion in that game is so fucking unreal.
Do they have Maggie Smith?
I don't know.
I want Maggie Smith.
Everyone
There's a
wants
list.
Maggie
Go to HS Voice. Look up HS
Everyone.
Elite.
Literally everyone.
Everyone.
I want Arnold personally. He wouldn't be a
There
good
you go.
computer voice, but he'd be funny.
I want Jeff Goldblum.
He's not there.
What?
Too expensive. William Shatner way cheaper than Jeff Goldblum, not surprisingly. I don't know if I recommend that game, but I can say that I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Like there's so much to it that like it's hard to recommend, but look at it. If it's something that you think might intrigue you, like
It's a good review for Steam. Just look at it.
just at least give it a look. It's on sale on GOG right now for half off. So
Oh, good.
Half off being like $30.
$28 for the base game, the expansion, and what they're calling a season pass, which I don't know what that actually gets you, but it's $30.
It gets you the seasons.
Many seasons.
Summer, fall, winter, and spring.
Yeah.
Space season.
If you have the ability to try that game in VR, try it in VR. If you don't try it in VR, you're wasting your time. Not wasting your time. I'm sorry. I should say you're missing out a lot.
So I need HOTAS and VR. Or
Yeah,
else
go
just don't get the game.
spend
Cool.
$1,000.
And then you can
And
have some
sub-pack
fun.
and-
And 15 to 20 hours, and then you can start having fun.
Cool.
15 to 20 hours, then you can figure out how to fly the ship. and
Why haven't
then
they asked you to sell this game for
20
them?
hours. Well, they've already they've sold enough. It's fine. They don't need my salesmanship. It's a game. It's 3 years old. It's just fucking cool, man. Sorry.
I remembered something else I've been playing.
What else?
Playing?
I finally got Bernie to play Stardew Valley with me.
Oh wow.
Yes, I
that's right,
finally
there's
did
co-op.
it. I finally did it. I've been trying to get him to play this game for more than a year, and they now have the co-op beta going on PC.
Steam, right?
Yes.
Sweet.
So I got that, and I was like, Bernie, please, please, and he's like, fine. And we've been farming together, and we're halfway through our first spring, and we're doing great. And you know what he said to me last night? He said, we didn't farm today. And I was like, does that make you sad? And he said, yes. And I was like, I did it.
You hooked him. You got
Is
it.
he actually into it? He likes it?
Yeah,
At
he
this
said
point-
that the reason he hasn't really played it is because he feels like it's a rabbit hole for him. That it's the kind of game that you can just keep playing.
Yeah.
On my Switch version, I'm towards the end of my third year, and if every day is maybe 15 minutes,
Something like that.
that's a very lot of hours. I'm 120 hours maybe in the Switch version.
Oh.
It's a lot.
I'm a lot of hours into PUBG, so I can't.
How many hours?
Maybe not as many as some other people, but I think I'm coming up on 250.
It's a lot, dude.
It's a lot of hours.
I mean,
That's a lot of hours.
Look, I'm
and
not
I should
gonna-
be a lot better.
I'm not going to throw shade given the amount of time I spent in a lot of my
I would imagine with co-op Stardew, you're just racing to see who can get a significant other faster than the other one.
Please, we can hook up with each other. In the
No, I would
Yeah,
I would be
how does
going
that-
and getting a
How
boyfriend.
does that work? How does it work? in
You
this?
have to go through, so with co-op, there's just certain things you have to get
Gifts.
in order to be able to hook up with each other. But we can still sleep in the same bed, so
That's not having sex.
we're all premarital.
They're still
Hooking
sleeping
up.
together.
Okay.
then.
Yeah.
So he's got
people that.
his own cabin. You just basically you start the game and you have to build a cabin that someone can have as a co-op buddy. But he never uses his cabin, so I think of it as our guest cabin.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's actually really cool co-op. There's a couple of just weird little tweaks. You don't see the same cutscenes necessarily if a cutscene triggers for one person. In this case, because I was hosting the game, there were some early game cutscenes that would trigger for me, like
Yeah.
when Marnie brings you a pet. And
Yeah.
he didn't see the cutscenes. He saw the pet once it existed, but he didn't see that cutscene. I was just standing on the porch.
Just
Staring
standing.
at nothing,
Yeah.
and the time doesn't stop.
Tripping out.
So in the single player version, if you're in a menu, if you're shopping at the store,
yeah.
if you're in a cutscene, time stops. It does not stop.
But you also have two people working at it.
Yes.
So.
And it's pretty cool because it means that we have double the energy. So we
Oh, you
can
get a lot done.
We can get crops going faster. We can clear more ground. We get further in the mines. So
the
all
fact
that's pretty great.
Does the fact that time doesn't stop make it feel like you're trying to speed run every day, get through it as quickly as possible?
A little bit.
Does it add to the
Usually-
stress?
Kind of, because in the single player, the menus is how I pause if I need to go do something.
Totally.
And so knowing that I can't do that, I can't just pause the game and go look something up, means I'm more invested at every moment. But it's a lot of fun. I'm digging it.
How many players is it? Up to 4?
Up to 4.
Cool, cool.
Yeah. But maybe we should just try and hook up with everyone in the town.
That's what we do.
We can
Be-
be like
be Mormons.
we can be like that weird.
That's not Mormons.
That's
Who
not
is it?
how that works.
That's not Mormons.
Who's
That's just polygamy
who's
in
polygamous?
That's not even polygamy.
What is polygamy then?
Polygamy is like one dude, lots of wives.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think bigamy is
True,
one
true.
lady, lots of dudes.
So
You're
it's
thinking polyamory.
That's
polyamory
the
and
word.
polygamy are different.
Yes.
Polyamory.
Interesting. Now I learned something today.
Well, that's
You gave me a Witcher fact. I gave you a non-monogamous relationship fact.
Shows our interests.
It does.
real.
We're learning so much.
We are.
I'm glad I can be absorbing this knowledge
Oh
with you guys.
man.
It's been, though, it's been a lot of fun. I'm liking it. Do you guys play any?
I played.
I tried.
I played it when it
bought
first
on
came
the
out
Switch
and
and
played a ton.
couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get into it. It's
think-
the game I'm playing when I'm not playing God of War at home, basically.
Okay. Fair enough.
So like I'll be laying in bed sometimes and I'll be playing Stardew. I'm just trying to get further into the mines. There's like a couple different plot lines, I guess you could say, that I'm sort of trying to chase
Advance.
equally. I'm still trying to just kind of figure out what I'm doing in this game.
How far
You're
in
growing
are you?
crops.
I'm still year one. I think I'm still in spring, or I just
okay,
went
so
over into
pretty early
summer.
on.
Yeah, I'm early on.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of systems that they don't spend a ton of time explaining to you. I'm in year 3 and I'm just figuring out how to get to the witch's house.
Oh wow.
Wow.
And so there's
This game will never end.
you get to the mine and then you get to the bottom, you get your skull key. What do you do with the skull key? And then it's through completing other things that you can finally go to this place and now you can use the skull key. And so there's a lot of these sort of interrelated systems. But if I can give you one tip, it's don't neglect the community center.
I've been working on the community center. I just don't know how to make money. Like I have all these resources, but that I want to make stuff with.
You spend a lot of time early on pretty poor.
Yeah, I'm dirt poor. I got nothing.
There is, however, a crop calculator, so you can like
in the game
No,
or
of course-
online?
Of course not in the game. No, the game's really nice in that it's pretty minimal in terms of what it surfaces to you. But people are nerds, and so there's all kinds of tools. There are farm planners. We can plan out ahead of time. Like I'm gonna have my crops over here, and I'm gonna have my animals in my barns over here, and here's gonna be like my brewing stations, and you can sort of map out where you want to build everything up, which is kind of fun and super nerdy. But then there's also things like crop calculators, so you can go, it's the 5th day of spring. What can I get the most money for if I were to plant now?
Okay, that's good to know. I think
Just
I'm
so
just
you
gonna
know, in spring it's kale.
kale.
Yeah, plant kale.
I've got.
Yes,
no
I do
kale.
know that off the top of my head, John.
So how long was the tutorial learning curve for Stardew?
It's not that bad.
Not that bad. Not 15 hours.
Not 15.
No. You go out, you walk out of your farm the first day, and it's kind of intimidating because
It is.
the farm is just totally dilapidated, and you have to clear the land. You have to get all that going.
And the day ends, and you're like, well, shit, all I've done is cleared 3 trees. What am I doing? That's basically my life.
But then it opens up very slowly. It's I don't think it's difficult to get the gist of what's going on.
No.
Figuring out some
Very
of the later stuff, like once you get to the bottom of the mine and like what do you do then? That stuff you kind of will need to figure out. But by that point, you're probably doing a bunch of other stuff anyway. It's pretty good at easing you into each of the different systems.
That's good.
All I know is I'm going to drop it as soon as they put Animal Crossing on Switch.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate truth for me.
Well, I don't know that that's coming anytime soon.
But you know it's coming sometime.
Oh, absolutely, it's coming sometime. And it's going to be amazing. But I think it might be a next year thing.
Probably.
So
Do
we'll see.
not touch that.
I have also been playing one other thing, and that is State of Decay 2.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that because the embargo is now up. But before I do that, I would like to thank one of our sponsors, Beachbody. This episode of Glitch Please is brought to you by Beachbody On Demand. It's an easy-to-use streaming service that gives you instant access to a wide variety of super effective workouts that you can do from the comfort of your living room 24/7. So no excuses for not doing it. You always have access. It's the company behind P90X, Insanity, 21 Day Fix, and more. You can get motivated by celebrity super trainers like Shaun T, Jolene Johnson, Tony Horton, that one I know, and more. And there's hundreds of workouts for all fitness levels, whether you're like bodybuilding, weight training, doing cardio, HIIT, which I now know is high intensity interval training, and yoga, which I've been doing the most of, and dance workouts. It's a lot of fun. You can view on your computer or a web-enabled TV, tablet, smartphone, whatever. Join over 1 million people currently on Beachbody On Demand. I've been doing the yoga retreat because it's basically my stretching sessions because I do a lot on the treadmill, which then makes like my leg muscles pretty tight. So I've been using the yoga to help stretch myself back out. Every workout is 30 minutes long. You can do them like right when you get home. You can do them before bed, whenever is convenient. And there's no extra equipment that you need. Consider trying Beachbody On Demand. I really want you to. It is really accessible. It's easy. It's effective. It's been doing great for my stretches. You don't have to sit in traffic just to get to the gym. The gym comes to you. Right now, you can get a special free trial membership when you text GLITCH to 303030. You'll get full access to the entire platform for free. That's all the workouts, nutrition information, and support totally free. Again, just text GLITCH to 303030. We could do yoga together.
Totally.
How about that on Glitch, please?
Well, look, you gotta be stretchy if you're gonna fight zombies, which is also what I've been doing.
I don't know if you actually fight zombies. I don't know if I believe that.
Just like get into it. No, not really, unfortunately.
You're doing State of Decay 2, right?
Yeah, so State of Decay 2 is coming out soon. We got some early copies from Microsoft. Gus and I did. Gus is not here right now because he's shooting something. So if you want to get Gus's thoughts on it, you'll need to check out our standalone video. But I've been playing it. I didn't play the first one. Bernie was super into the first one. He played so much. Zombies are honestly a little out of my usual genre of video games.
He loves the zombie games.
He loves the zombie games. He loves the survival games. I'm more, if I'm gonna play a survival game, it's usually more like along the lines of Don't Starve or Minecraft, something like that. But he liked the first one so much, I was like, I'm gonna check out State of Decay 2. And because there's a lot that they've done for this one, there's now 3 different maps available. So you can do the plateau, you can do the valley, you can do the foothills, and then each one has, its own map. So it's going to have its own resources. It's going to have its own, plague hearts and hordes and different outposts that you can get. And it's fun. This game is so buggy.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's it's by Undead Labs, the same developer that made the first one. This one's published by Microsoft. They kind of, it's weird. I don't know that being published by Microsoft is going to do them a ton of favors because this is very much an indie game.
Yeah.
It's priced accordingly. It's $30.
Okay.
Is that frame rate accurate?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, is this State of Decay 2 or?
That was like 15
This is-
frames a second.
I don't know.
A moment ago.
This is just a video, so this is just a trailer. I wouldn't count on that.
Which you'd think they'd want to make it look as good as possible.
Yeah, I didn't get too many frame rate drops specifically when playing. It was more, I would have weird issues with the HUD flickering,
Oh no.
which I don't
That's
like very much.
aggravating.
Yeah, it's just sitting there flashing at me. And at one point I was driving through an area and all the polygons decided to stretch to the sky and half of the world fell out. So I could walk over it. I was just sort of walking over nothing.
That's fun.
So there's a lot of bugs that way. I feel like this game could have used more time in the oven.
So I didn't play a lot of State of Decay 1, but that was a complaint in State of Decay 1 was that it was a really great game, but it needed to fix a handful of core bugs. And so do you feel like just still, obviously you didn't play once, you can't compare it, but like this is still like pretty bogged down by bugs?
Yeah, it's pretty buggy.
Is it like, does it affect your core experience?
It does.
That's the worst.
Possibly I'm missing a day 1 patch that is coming for it, and so possibly they're addressing a lot of these issues. I can't say yet because they don't have any patches that they would be putting out for it. I hope they've got one that addresses a lot of this because I feel like there's a fun game in there. It's a cool idea because you don't play as one character. You play as a community.
Yeah, and
if you get one of your characters, whoever you're controlling, killed, that's it. They're dead.
Permanently?
They're dead.
Dang, all right.
And
got some stakes.
you switch over and you're going to play another one of your community members.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to go hunt down your dude that died and get all that equipment that they had on them.
Is the
Because
story-
if you've been controlling them, you probably geared them up with nice stuff that you want.
That sounds like that Zombie U game that Ubisoft put out.
Dude, I was just thinking that game was really good. It's fun.
Yeah.
So just so you know, actually, it looks like last night a big patch did drop for that game around midnight last night.
Okay, well then I will maybe check that out and see if it's fixed some things, because some of the bugs were very frustrating. I was also checking out some of the other reviews just to see what other people had to say, to see if this experience was unique to me. Maybe something had gone terribly wrong. But so far, it's been a complaint across the board.
It was a pretty big patch. It was about 6 gigs on PC. So
Jesus.
Yeah, that's not really saying much anymore, though. It feels like every patch for everything is enormous.
In order to fix the textures, we needed to redo them all. Here they are. So you said that you control multiple people, and then you have community members that you're keeping up after. Is it a game that, like, if you focus on, say you have a person that you really like to play, and you're just going to play that person, do you have to focus on your community members? Like, do you have to go control different people in order for them not to die or, like, fuck shit up? Like, or do they
Not
order
necessarily.
themselves around and do their own shit without?
No, you'll find that they'll get tired after a while. So you will want to take them back to base, drop them off, let them have a nap, heal up, whatever, and switch over to another character if you want to take someone out immediately and go exploring. So I wouldn't say that you have to focus on all of them, but I found that I did switch between them.
Okay.
And part of that is because when you're just starting to play this game, there is a learning curve. Your first community is probably gonna get pretty killed.
How many Elite Dangerouses is it a learning curve?
There's probably
have OTOS
1.5
support?
Elite Dangerouses.
That's a lot.
So yeah, your community is a persistent area in the game, I'm assuming. And if you're away from your community when like a horde attacks, you die, you lose.
No, so you have a community. Let's say you moved into a house with some fences and
Sure.
gates and stuff. And so this is your base, and you have the ability to set up different different areas as different things. So you can set up a workshop, which will let you repair and salvage weapons and make stuff. You can set up an infirmary, so you can create cures for blood plague, which is a new thing in this game. You can set up a garden, so you can start to develop food units.
Kind of sounds a little bit like Zombie
food
Survival
units.
Tycoon.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a fair-ish thing to say?
It's maybe
just
a little
build
bit
stuff
more
wherever,
simplistic
or-
because you're not gonna build like this whole spreading complex.
Sure.
You're definitely limited by whatever base you're using, and you can move your whole community from one on to another if you find a better site. But it's a big process, and so it's not something to be done lightly,
What
for sure.
is-
But you can do it, and you can find one that maybe this place. Maybe you're going to move into a restaurant and it creates food and morale or something like this.
Okay.
It has bonuses for this. So different types of bases will have different bonuses. And then you can also have outposts. So maybe I'm living in the house, but I've claimed this restaurant as an outpost, and it will generate some food units at least. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. I'm just getting faces.
I'm watching. I'm listening.
That's a listening face. I don't
Adam's
like it.
playing with his phone during the show.
No, I didn't.
John would never do such a thing.
No.
So
I'm listening to
saw
State of Decay 2.
That truck bug. One of the things about the last game was that the vehicles were super buggy. Have you ran into vehicle bugs?
I have not. However, one of the developers actually came down to visit the Know a few weeks ago, brought the game. We had like 90 minutes. We got a video. We basically got about like 90 minutes of gameplay, and we did have some bugs with vehicles in that.
That's not good.
Specifically because there's also co-op in this one, which I'll get into in just a second. Like Bernie joined in, he got in the vehicle as well, and was just like flashing all over the place. And it was just this one vehicle. We got in a different vehicle, and it was okay. But this one vehicle just did not like him getting in it.
What's the funniest thing you've seen in the game so far? Was there like a funny bug or?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't a bug specifically. It was just there was a moment, went out at night, not a huge deal. It was fine, and then just got swamped on very unexpected. Like turned around and there was this huge. There's a couple special zombies, and it was like I think it's the one they call a juggernaut. I can't remember what it's called, but
was it in the really big
huge,
fat one in the trailer?
There's bloater, and that's like a big one that will like run up to you and then kind of pop and leave this like poisonous
Like the boomer
gas.
from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, and then there's the screamer that will call a bunch of other zombies into the area. But I was just having like no big deal, doing some rummaging around, everything was fine, and then turned around, huge zombie, pulled me in pieces, and that was it.
Jesus.
And I was like, well,
No warning at all?
Nope, it was just that I'm very dead.
Would you?
I'm not coming back from that one.
Would you consider this to be a scary game? Because I'm a wuss
I'm a
when
wuss.
it comes to games.
I'm a wuss. There's not jump scares. It's not jump scary. It's kind of creepy.
Tense.
At night, in particular, the zombies get extra aggressive and extra active, and so going out at night is a little bit scary and stressful.
Is it like oh, if you go into this basement, you know something bad's gonna happen to this basement, so you just avoid the basement? Is there stuff like that? Because I always
not
avoid
really.
those areas in games where it's
No.
like, oh, there's the scary sewers where scary stuff will happen if you go in there. I'm like, I'm not gonna go in. I will avoid.
You'll see different areas. There's infestations where maybe a whole bunch of zombies have infested this house,
Okay.
and you can go and clear it out, but you know what it is going into it, and it's not scary per se. It's just, hey, there's more zombies. This is going to be more challenging.
Okay.
And then there's a new thing in this game that wasn't in the first game. It's there's these plague zombies and these plague hearts. So it's a whole other level of things that you have to manage with your characters. If you get attacked by a plague zombie and you take too much damage from a plague zombie, you get this plague. And your character will then turn into a plague zombie. And that's bad. So you have to get a cure, and to do that, you have to kill a bunch of different plague zombies and get all these different samples, and then use an infirmary to create a cure for it. And if one of your characters starts to get too far gone, you probably want to not use them. Check them into the infirmary to like stop the development of it, and then take another character to go get stuff for the.
Can you just execute them on the spot if you decide it's not worth it? You take that way out?
You can exile them from your community.
You can exile them?
Yeah, you kick them out into the cold.
And then you
They'll
can
probably
kill
come
them.
back and fuck you up later. It'll be just like the governor in Walking Dead.
Yeah, I think they can hold some grudges.
Spoilers.
Well, I mean, if you watch that show, you've probably seen the governor. It was like 5 seasons ago.
Man, The Walking Dead is also one of those shows that no one has any problem spoiling like the night of. Just
That show
like you
is-
go onto Twitter and it's all about
yeah.
the spoilers.
I stopped watching that show, but yeah, like anytime there's a character death, they'd be like, "Oh man, so sad this character didn't die," and it's like a face of the character that might have not died. It sucks. So how would you say that you're saying a lot of what sounds like micromanaging stuff, like managing plagues and keeping up with food units and like the added blood plague in, and how would you say that managing I'm not someone that likes to keep up with a bunch of meters and bars, and like I don't want to have to worry about fucking who's sick and how I going to deal with that. Like if I just like, is that a fun mechanic?
You might not like this game.
Okay.
Because it is a survival game in that regard, and your first play in particular will be really rough.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do I do to establish my first outpost? I made a mistake. I was like, hey, a little coffee shop. It says it'll boost morale. And so I spent a bunch of my influence and made a coffee shop an outpost.
But the problem is all you have is coffee and no actual food, right?
Right. And so I was like, well, this isn't going to work. I eventually had to abandon it, but that 300 influence that early in the game was very, very important. And if I had spent it on setting up an outpost that had food units, then I would have been way better off, and my community wouldn't have starved. But they did.
If you put bugs aside, like, obviously that's really difficult to do because it's affecting your core gameplay experience. Is it something that you see yourself playing a lot more of?
It's a fun game. There is a fun game in there. I don't think I would spend the kind of time playing it that I've seen Bernie play. I would fiddle around with it, I don't know, 10, 15 hours maybe, and then I would probably move on because it's not my core game genre. But I can't speak for people who do go in for that.
Sure.
That's just what my personal preferences are. given the bugs, I would put the game down and I would wait for patches.
Do you think? I obviously have no idea, but I don't know if the last game ever got rid of its bugs. Maybe it worked on some of
It
them.
never got rid of the bugs. There is a certain level of jank to
Right.
it that, on one hand you could say it's charm. It's an indie game. It's rough around the edges, but the core systems are cool and fun and unique. And if you can put that aside, if you don't mind a little bit of jank and a couple crazy bugs, because honestly, pretty much every open world game is bug central. Didn't stop
Yeah.
Skyrim from being hugely successful. Didn't stop Fallout from being hugely successful. Like bugs, sometimes game-breaking bugs even, happen in open world games.
Yeah.
There is an extra level of jankiness here because it is also indie. It's a smaller development team, but the systems are cool.
All right.
The systems are cool, but I just wish that they had given it more time before launching it, because this is buggier than Mass Effect Andromeda.
Damn.
That's bad.
Last question for co-op stuff.
Yes.
Can you have one person managing like one part of the annoying bars and have the other person doing the other
So
stuff?
basically, can you have someone do the stuff that you hate and you could?
Yeah, because some people like doing that stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
There's I'm kind of.
I'll be your base
Well, when you bring someone into your game, like I would join into your game and I would bring my community, I would have access to my characters and I can switch them in your base. But I'm coming into your world.
Okay, go on.
And I can't, it also changes things up, so I can't loot all of your resources and then fuck off back to my game and leave you with no resources. It does protect you as the host from that, which is pretty great. There's some stuff that I would be able to loot and then we can exchange things and I can go back and I can check some things in that would then go back to my game,
Understood.
but I'm not gonna be able to ruin you.
So you're not gonna have like one base for both players that you can log on to and
Right.
Okay.
No,
Joining someone else's
you're not.
game.
right.
But having someone go along with you to, say, destroy a plague heart or get rid of infestations or go hunt things down, you've then got multiple people that can be carrying rucksacks, and you can coordinate between the two of you. You are tethered to some degree. You can only go so far away from each other.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's just a little weird, but I get it.
Yeah, and that's a bummer.
Yeah.
That's a bummer. It would be nice if you could drop in and say, like, all right, hey, you're looking after this. If you want to go off and do this thing, maybe you go scout all of the areas, and I'm going to go do this.
Is it like a short distance?
It's a medium distance, but you're not going to be able to go across the map.
Okay, so like if you're at the home base, I wouldn't be able to go to the town nearby. Okay, so it's like within visibility, basically.
Yeah,
like that.
it feels like a tether.
Okay, that sucks.
And then maybe that's something that they can expand in the future. Maybe they can release some updates to put that out. Although I'd rather they fix the bugs first.
Does I said it was the last question. Does this game have does it have anything that stands out as like really unique or interesting? Like, the last game was just like a modern zombie setting. Does this game have like, do you get helicopters now, or like you can do whatever? Like,
Is basically
This is
the
SteamWorld.
two element is that it's like we have more than one map now.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I think a lot of people who were maybe expecting State of Decay 2 to be crazily different or it's way more advanced than State of Decay 1 are going to be disappointed by that. It is very similar to State of Decay 1 with better surfacing of information about your base, like better granularity and control over that. 3 maps instead of 1 map, and co-op.
Gotcha.
Those
Kinda
are
like
the
an
main
expansion.
features that take it above. Yes.
So
State of
that what
Decay
you're seeing
1.5.
behind you is a visualization of the tether distance, the maximum tether distance in State of Decay 2.
Yeah. So it's pretty good,
For
but
an
it's
open
not.
meters.
It's not.
Yeah,
Leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
It means you're generally going to be sticking together.
Yeah.
Which would be fine if I didn't want to leave someone behind and do base management while I went and gathered supplies for the like that would be fun
Yeah,
to be able to
totally.
like divvy up tasks. But it seems it's fine. I mean, It's a limitation of some games. I know, like Conan Exiles, if you do a private server, it has the same. You have a tether distance and stuff like that. So it's just a thing that some games do.
Yeah, and I agree. I wish it wasn't the case. I wish it was like a map-wide thing.
Yeah.
But they at least they acknowledged it before, in the stream we did as well, where I was asking about it, because I initially thought it was just a map-wide thing, and they're like, no, you have to be together. So they're at least open about that. Hopefully, people won't be buying the game expecting map-wide and then be bitterly disappointed, but people still probably will be anyway.
Okay. Two more small questions.
Okay.
Jesus.
No, hit me. This is hopeful, because
Yeah.
sometimes my brain gets scattered, and it's good to know what you want to know about it.
Is the map very large?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's each one is about town-sized.
Okay. And
What
what
would you compare the map to, size-wise, for in like another game? Is it like a
another
Skyrim,
game.
or is it? It's not a Breath of the Wild, I'm assuming.
No, not Breath of the Wild, not Skyrim. Each map is, gosh, what would I compare it to?
Like a GTA 5,
yeah,
GTA
I'd
4
say
maybe?
each map is a couple miles by a couple miles.
Okay.
And then you'll spend, you'll get across it relatively quickly if you want to, just because you can pick up a vehicle. The vehicles do have gas, so you can totally run out
okay.
and get yourself stranded in the middle of the night, which I've done. Don't recommend it. So you can get across it pretty quickly if you want to.
Okay.
what are the settings like in the game?
So there's three. There's foothills, there's a plateau, and there's a valley. So each one has its own layout and its own sort of different available bases and all the different buildings that you can explore. But I wouldn't say that they're each crazy different. They're all going to play pretty similarly, just with a few small variations. So if you're really into this game, and I know a lot of people spend a lot of time on the first game.
Yeah.
This way, you can do like the same but different.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same but different.
Same but different. Same.
I'm still like I'm still a little interested in it because I did. People love the first one. Like they were crazy for it. And Joel was like one of those people that
Michael loved it.
nonstop played it. So
Yeah, it's got-
part of me wants
it's got
to
a lot of
hop into
charm.
co-op and try it out. Yeah.
Well, we can get it installed. I've got it on the Studio Xbox. We can get it installed on another Xbox because we've got a couple spare of those, I think, and get a setup going.
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah. Into
Dope.
that.
Sweet.
Yeah, this episode of Glitch Please is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 20,000 classes in design and photo. Just a ton of stuff, basically. Premium membership gives you unlimited access so you can improve your skills, unlock new opportunities, and do the work you love. Skillshare believes in accessible learning, and the price reflects that. An annual subscription with unlimited access is less than $10 a month, making it one of the best deals you can find for online education. Try getting any kind of university textbook for that. I've really enjoyed, in particular, I did some of their Premiere stuff because I do some video editing for the Know. I've also done some of their creative writing classes. They've got like a 6-day workshop. They've got a couple of different writing exercises because I like doing that just as a hobby in my spare time. But they've got photography, they've got entrepreneurship stuff. They've just across the board got a ton of things. Also for like Illustrator, graphic design, typography, word marks. It's pretty great. And there's a bunch of different levels too. So they've got great lessons for beginners, or if you want to brush up on certain skills that you may have forgotten a little bit, you can learn, let's see, what else? Music production, building a brand, all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's all via Skillshare. And since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 500 people to use the promo link that we're going to put in the description will get their first 2 months free to try it out risk-free. Sign up now to receive a 2-month free trial. Go to the link below to start your trial now. Don't wait, start learning today. And the first 500 people to sign up will get their first 2 months for free. It's pretty great. There's just so much stuff in there. Every time I go and look at the class lineup, there's something that I haven't seen before. It's
Always something new to learn.
always something new to learn. Like what's happening in game news. Da-da-da-da.
10 out of 10 segue there.
Thank you. It's been kind of a busy week for game news. A lot's been happening. The big one, we'll start with the Pokémon leaks, shall we?
Sure.
Because Well, that's
Tell
why
me about
John's here.
Pokemon happening.
the
What
Pokemon.
happened? Pokemon.
All right, so over the last couple of days, there have been some new leaks coming out about the Switch version of Pokemon that are they're tying into previous leaks and rumors that are starting to put together a pretty clear picture of what Pokemon for Switch is going to look like. First of all, it looks like it is not going to be a Gen 8,
Damn.
which we also knew. It's going to be a traditional Pokemon game as opposed to like Pokemon Coliseum or Pokemon Snap, but it's going to operate a little differently than the mainline Pokemon games we've seen on 3DS. Specifically, these Pokemon games are supposedly called Pokemon Let's Go, and there's two versions,
Damn.
Pikachu and Eevee. And so you can kind of see from the Let's Go where they are tying into Pokemon Go for that recognizability for a lot of probably mainstream people, the people that maybe picked up Pokemon Go and had never played Pokemon before or who haven't played it in decades, because we're on 20 years now for Pokemon. So it's been around a while.
It's a lot of Pokemoning.
It
Sorry,
is.
did you say Pikachu and Eevee?
Those are the different
I
versions.
did, yes.
How the fuck do you expect me to choose between Pikachu and Eevee?
Get both. That's what
would
they
you
expect
pick?
you to do.
Well, I love Pikachu. He's my best friend. But Eevee has many evolutions.
Okay.
You can have so many Pokemon
Correct.
from Eevee. I could have a Jolteon. She can do thunder.
Vaporeon.
Vaporeon does water.
Flareon
You're right in the
for
name.
fire.
Flareon for fire. Easy. But like,
Name
why
other
would
ones.
Jolteon, Vaporeon, Flareon? Those are the important ones.
Name one other one.
Water.
Hold on. Vaporeon,
Oh,
Flareon.
no.
You can do this. You can do this. I believe in you.
Name the psychic one.
Dude, it's
Name the
it's
dark one.
Darkion,
Nope. Name the ice one.
Frostian,
Name the grass one.
Leafeon.
Yes!
Is it really?
Yes, it really is. It's the worst one.
That's great. Thanks. I named
worst
another
name,
one.
I should say.
Deal with it. Jerk.
Yeah. So that's apparently the two versions. Like,
Man.
a lot of people get both versions. That's
That's
what,
insanity. I've
the
never
same
been bothered by a choice
welcome
before.
to the Pokemon
Me neither.
tradition.
I've never been bothered by a choice before, but this is making me choose between Pokemon that already exist in the universe, and I don't think that's been done before. I don't have any connection to like.
well,
Red and blue was Charizard and Blastoise.
Right,
Yeah, but
what
those
we're
are the
saying
first
is
games.
it wasn't called Pokemon Charizard, Pokemon Blast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, but those were the same games. Like those were the first generation of games. Like I'm saying, like every generation of games has moved forward. And it's been like, oh, you're gonna get this legendary or this legendary.
Right.
It's never gone back to the old pool and be like, you remember Squirtle? You're never gonna get him if you go with this version. This is the first time they've done that, I think. So it's never really made a difference to me. I just pick whatever one
Wait,
looks.
so-
But in
you're
the red
saying
and
that-
blue, you could pick whatever starter you wanted.
Well,
That's not what I'm saying.
starter as opposed to legendary.
This is what I'm saying is like.
Because each version has its own legendary.
Right.
So he's saying that
So you're assuming
taken away.
You're assuming that if you got Pokemon Let's Go
Pikachu.
Eevee, you would never get a Pikachu.
Unless I trade with someone with a Pikachu, and I'm gonna assume
Well, you're assuming that's what they're gonna do.
that's what they've done in every other game. Like every time except for Red and Blue.
Right. Yeah.
Like Yellow, you just got the one Pikachu. Like X and Y, you can only get the one legendary of the X. I can't remember their names.
Well, they actually
Xerneas and Yveltal?
Right.
The rumor is that this might be a remastering of Pokemon Yellow.
Or a
Which gave you no choice
Almost like
in your
not
starter.
quite a
yeah,
reboot.
you got Pikachu.
Almost like a reboot, revisiting, retelling of Yellow
Yeah.
from the point of view of different trainers.
Of
So
the
the
revolted Pokemon.
so the other characters from Yellow are in it, but you are a new trainer.
It's all rumors.
Okay.
Yes,
All
this
right.
is again. We can supposedly expect a proper
What'd you
reveal
do?
ahead of E3. What did you just do, Adam?
My knee hurt.
Did you
I
hurt
popped
yourself?
my knee very bad. It's fine.
The thing that I'm really interested to see how it actually, unveils itself as to what they're actually gonna do is the rumors about the Pokemon Go integration,
I can do it too.
where they think that they'll add the way you catch Pokemon in Pokemon Go into how the game will work, and that there will actually be like Pokeball action and choices, and then even that there might be a chance that instead of random encounters in grass, the Pokemon will pop up as you search through the world as you do in Pokemon Go. You know, Pokemon Go.
Okay.
That's the rumor that I'm a little iffy on. Like, I'm all in favor
You're
of.
not sure that it's credible, or you're not sure that you'd like it.
Not sure that I would like it. Just if it's literally Pokemon Go, I suck at Pokemon Go. I can't tell you how many Pokeballs I miss. I don't want to spend all my money on Pokeballs just to miss.
Well, they wouldn't be able to do the exact way Pokemon Go works because it's not touch-based.
Yeah, but
unless-
imagine doing that actually with
but-
a joystick, though.
Yeah.
That would suck.
Switch does have a touchscreen.
You could also take off the
It does,
Joy-Con
so
and go
would
like
be
this.
It could be
Yeah.
touch-based.
But then you're not sure like how they would handle it in docked mode, where you don't have access
That's
to the
what I'm
touch.
saying. I would. That's what I assume is like it has to work without it. You having the screen.
Probably.
Maybe it's just going to be 2 meters that you tap at one end.
Yeah, it might be that.
Like Mario Golf.
Like any of those fucking batting games or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, golf, that batting game.
I was going to say baseball. Baseball is a batting game. They
Take
have
your
bats in them.
golf bat.
Batman,
Golf
batting
can be
game.
a batting game depending on how you approach it,
Yeah.
Yeah, go play Golf Story and come back to me.
Cool.
which is also a great game.
On the other hand, though, I am in favor of like immersing myself more into the world of Pokemon. So if there's a little bit more interaction with how I use the Pokeball, in theory, I could get behind that. It's just at its core, Pokemon is an RPG. It is very menu-based. So at some point, you've got to be like, okay, maybe this is stop. This is no longer a Pokemon.
Well, they got to think about, like you're talking about, it's 20 years, and they've been really trying to continue to get people to play these games, and they will get people to play them. But I got to say, the last one was boring.
I'm in the same boat. Like they rehashed the same formula over and over and over, and I'm ready for something different.
Yeah, I actually didn't finish the last game because I got so bored.
Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon?
Sun and Moon. I didn't finish Sun and Moon because I bought it and I played it, and then like the pacing was so slow and there was nothing new. I was like, I just can't even get myself excited to want to play this, so I'm not going to finish it. Granted, I bought it.
I would disagree that there wasn't anything new. I feel like Sun and Moon did a lot of things. They tweaked and refined a lot of the different Pokemon systems, and I think they did a great job with it.
I disagree.
All right.
Refresh my memory on Pokemon Go. In Pokemon Go, when you do you fight with Pokemon in that game?
No. Well, you can. Yes, in
But
raid
do you
and
tap the Pokemon to make them do actions?
yeah.
That's
So is that something that is gonna like? Are we gonna have less turn-based Pokemon?
I don't know. I mean, it's all like rumors of like what they're gonna do, but I think
It becomes Pokken.
yeah. Well, and a lot of this is
Yeah.
speculation because the leak or the rumor suggests there will be some kind of Pokemon Go-like integration.
because it's in the name.
And
And they
the-
assume that I mean, you got to think like the success of Pokemon Go and how much that brought Pokemon into a lot of people's lives who didn't play it. If they can like get people to go like, hey, remember how you like that app? The next game is like that too a little bit. Want to play the game and now to get a new audience.
You're not going to feel lost. You're going to get it.
It's funny. Back when I played Pokemon Go, I was like, if the next Pokemon game comes out and it doesn't have these features, I'm gonna be mad. Now if it has this features, I don't want to walk around.
But you got to imagine like a very young generation that's playing Pokemon and like that plays Pokemon Go, and that was like their introduction to Pokemon.
I get it.
games,
I
and
totally
they'll
understand
jump
the
into this
branding.
like crazy.
Totally understand the branding. So, are they talking about like a more active Pokemon battle system?
Not sure.
Is there
It's
any
really
rumor?
just like
Not sure.
title
That's-
rumors, logo rumors.
Yeah, so
that
this
kind
is
of thing.
where it starts to become speculation
Okay.
on our part. Like, what would a Pokemon Go-like integration be?
I hadn't even
Is
thought
that how
about the
that's
whole
gonna
like
work?
Pokemon pop-up option of that kind of thing. And as someone who has played Pokemon games for 20 years and has had to like just go back and forth in grass to find this one fucking rare Pokemon, if like there was just a place and I could just walk around and wait for him to pop up and that's where I can go get him, like, please do that. I'm so tired of that mechanic every single time.
Every tall grass?
Yeah, is that and then it's like, oh, another Rattata. Okay, either kill him or run away. Oh, another Rattata. It's like, that is annoying. If I can just see a bunch of Rattatas, be like, I'm not going to attack you, and I'm going to wait till the guy that I need pops.
I can get behind that.
I can get behind that.
I could, yeah. I can see why you would like that. I would like a more active battle system. Something that like, if we're fighting each other at work, there's more skill involved than just like, how leveled up are you? Or,
Like there is like, instead of
Or
the
how well you
randomness
train
of like a dodge or something like that, you can actually do something to cause a
Right.
dodge.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing.
like it would be Pokken, like you said.
Or
But-
in like Pokemon Go where
fun
you
way.
build up to a move.
Right.
This is dreaming really big here, and I do not expect this from Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee at all. But someday, wouldn't it be cool if it was just like a straight up open world Pokemon? Like literally Breath of the Wild, but it's Pokemon.
Yeah,
Instead of, like, linear
but you
system.
mean actual 3D and not
exactly.
like top-down view.
Well, and imagine being able to have all the different like regions that you can travel to. and
Exactly,
get
yeah.
Oh,
there.
that'd be awesome. That's what I was kind of hoping.
Dreaming
that
really
this would
big
be,
here,
but it's not gonna be that.
that's the goal, the hope.
You
dream.
don't know.
I know. I've been told. My uncle works at Nintendo. He told me not to happen. Sucks.
Works at Game Freak.
Is there any speculation on like multiplayer integration for this?
Don't know.
Don't know what that's going to look like.
That'd be
just
cool
yet.
if they put in like if it is Go related, maybe they put in some multiplayer aspects where you could actually be in the same world with someone else.
Well, no, it's also worth
co-op.
noting. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope. But it is worth noting that Nintendo manufactured that that little Pokemon Go thing, like the little like
The pedometer thing?
yeah, the pedometer.
Remember what it was called?
Yeah,
Andy
yeah.
just
It was,
bought it.
That would then it would
Pokemon
like
Go Plus.
there we
right?
go, and then it would
that thing.
it would alert you when you're near a Pokemon in the real world. So there is another thing to speculate about there. Would they be able to do anything with that or something like that for the Switch game?
I mean,
I
they
would-
could do it with the eggs kind of thing.
I would not put it past them. They did that. They had that little Pokeball that was a pedometer.
For the,
It came
one of
with
the
a-
DS games.
yeah,
Like
one-
Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Yeah, I have one of those, and like, wouldn't you want to wear one of those around on your belt every day because you look fucking cool? Yes. So yeah, I could totally see them doing that.
Yeah, and Nintendo's always had that additional thing as well, where they're like, how can we help people be healthy?
Although-
Or they did like Wii Fit. They did. God, I remember way back in the day. It was Game Boy. This was actually one of the earlier titles that
Was it the Sun
Kojima
game?
worked on. I think. Yeah, it was.
The Boktai.
Boktai.
Yeah,
there we
yeah.
go, where you'd have to charge your
Charge it
cartridge
with
with sun, and so like go outside, and then
Or
things,
turn on your desk lamp. And it's the same thing.
and then like with Pokemon Go, that it was obviously that was Niantic, but that people were out and active, and Nintendo does like to seem to do those sort of quality of life and fun but healthy sort of balances. So I wonder if they would somehow reward you.
Because,
for
well,
I'll bet they will.
I
Just
want-
because Switch is portable too, so it'd be a really missed opportunity.
It'd be cool to get some of the stuff we're missing from like Street Pass back.
Oh, I miss Street Pass.
I miss it too.
I
Oddly
miss it
enough, I
so
do.
much.
I shouldn't. Like, I don't care about it that much, but I miss
Plus,
the
it was
puzzle
a killer
pieces.
on battery.
Yes, murder the battery.
Plus, I'd get all the puzzles complete, and then they just add another one, and I went from 100% to not 100%.
They needed to let you bank more. If they ever bring back Street Pass, we need to be able to bank more.
You do
people.
need to bank more.
'Cause
That was what a limited
More than
10.
10.
Yeah, 10 is unbelievably
like
low.
when we go to like conventions.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm
and
here
all
for
that.
about 3 seconds and I have 11.
Yeah. So, what does the ideal Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee look like?
I think all those things that I was saying, but like,
All my ideas, the best ones.
right.
Some more active battle system
That's-
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you can use controls, either touch controls or controls to
Yeah.
perform moves
They
in
need-
addition to just selecting from a menu.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
best way to put it, I think, is they need to take away the things that have been in the game forever that are the things you have to do on repeat constantly that make you not want to play the game anymore, like the going around in grass a whole bunch and that kind of thing, like just spamming the buttons over and over again to hit the same move over and over again. That like you're over that. I need to have more fun with these mechanics. So like active fighting mode or
Having
I didn't touch you. I just motioned towards you.
He's offended all the same.
Or some sort of new way of actually catching Pokemon that like will make me want to play the game more because it's fun to find new Pokemon and to see the new art and that kind of thing, but the mechanics haven't changed really that much. So the game still becomes that repetition that I have done for 7 generations now.
Yeah, and it is just the same game with new Pokemon. Like
Right.
it's-
So don't do that.
Yeah.
Do add new mechanics that like actually make it more of an active environment.
I think if it's going to be a more Go-like experience, I think we could probably expect to see some more multiplayer-centric ideas.
That'd
in
be
the game. Something that will.
trading, maybe?
Well, beyond
Like trading.
Like
Yeah.
I think beyond that, because the trading's been in the games for
Well,
forever.
I think they need to add some more systems that aren't just like Pokemon. Like if they add some sort of in-game economy that like people could contribute to that is outside of just like getting the 150 or whatever Pokemon that are in the game, adding like something aside from the Pokemon to the game would be a worthwhile addition.
Something interesting they could also add is like kind of like, again, if we're speculating that Pokemon Go is being integrated into this, is the idea of events. And that's what Pokemon Go has done a lot to get people to come back to play the game, is that they have events and special circumstances that happen where certain Pokemon are available to catch.
Stop.
Or that, is that the noise he's been making?
He's been tapping this against the table.
The audio.
Yeah, fidgety. Sorry.
Adam's a fidgeter.
I'm a fidgeter.
Should we get you a fidget spinner?
No, God.
But like, you know, not every game they bring out for Pokemon is you can get every single Pokemon there is that's been prior. But if they did events like, oh, we're gonna have like the legendary dogs, you can get Entei during this event, during this weekend if you play Pokemon Pikachu, Let's Go.
I would still be behind that.
Yeah.
Having the events and stuff, as opposed to just like the little card you get at GameStop, which is that's on the one hand that's kind of interesting because of the timed exclusivity or whatever, but it's just redeeming a code. Make it more interesting, like having to chase the dogs around and stuff.
What if they had in-game tournaments where they would happen like once a month, and you'd have to like go to qualifiers in-game, and then everyone would converge on this tournament, and you'd be able to watch the tournament live in-game or participate in it. And you
can't get over how you're saying tournament.
Tournament. And it would be so much fun.
I keep hearing tournament.
He's saying
tournament. Say tortoise.
I'm saying tournament. Tournament.
I think for these games,
Porpoise.
that's not even
Turtles
the same thing.
can swim. Tortoises can't.
Now we're talking about something different entirely. I think I would want the game to venture out, make new Pokemon, but at the same time have all the ones that I remember. I want it to be a new world, but one that's nostalgia. Make it the exact same, but completely different.
But you're a demographic that just wants nostalgia.
Yeah, no, just make it exactly the same as I remember it, but make it different.
But you
That's what I want. No, I think, like I said, if we're dreaming big, something like really open world. In all seriousness, though, take like some core mechanic of it and put a new spin on it. Why not? This is, from the title, it sounds like it's a spin-off anyway, right? You're not treating it as Gen 8. It's not going to be a complete betrayal of the hardcore. So if this takes off, cool. If not, oh well, you tried. So like talking about the battles and stuff, I think that'd be a great place to do it.
Yeah.
And as far as the exploration goes, that's where like the Breath of the Wild style open world could come in. I'm not expecting that twist to come in the open world, but I do think from the rumors it's going to come in the form of the battles.
I would like to see a different perspective as well.
Story-wise, what if you were the villain this time?
I've been wanting that for forever. I want to be able to join
No,
Team
like what if you were the guy that went and like stole Pokemon from people and that kind of thing?
You're stealing Pokemon from their
Spitting on
families
you.
in the wild, which is pretty evil.
I know, but like what if you were like the team?
I get it. Animal cruelty's fine. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never, the story again has
Or a
never been.
prequel. What if you were being Professor Oak?
Has the story?
Hey,
What if the story of Professor Oak?
Has the story? They haven't really. To me, the stories have never been interesting. Really, like the first time it was.
They were kind of interesting in the first ones, but like they got so G-rated in the newer ones. Like there's no sense of stakes.
Sun and Moon also, the stories were like unskippable and long, and the dialogue
lot of story in that
it was a
game.
lot.
It was better
was
than
the-
an X and Y.
No, X and Y
No?
I played through all the way and did not feel like I was like, stop having these conversations. I played for about 5 seconds and now I'm in another like cutscene.
Remember the romance scene in X and Y?
Which is the one that got
Shot
rid of
the fireworks and stuff.
which is the
It's
one that
this
got rid of
romance
the-
thing that's hinted at once and is never touched
I
again.
must have missed that.
Which-
Remember when
got rid-
Dr. Octopus showed up at the end?
Which game
Sorry.
got-
remember that.
Which game got rid of gyms? Was it X or was it Sun and Moon?
Sun and Moon.
Yeah,
Sun and
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Sun and Moon was like the tribe leaders or something.
Yeah, and you like went to the like it was
Alolan?
Alolan, yeah. Something like it was like Aloha, but not that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a word play. Anyways, Pokemon's cool. Love it.
Yeah. Another interesting thing happened this week. Actually, it happened just overnight. Xbox has announced a new controller.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's called the Xbox Adaptive Controller. And I find this really interesting. It's an accessibility controller for disabled gamers.
I love it.
And it's pretty cool. It's going to be coming out later this year, and you can plug sort of like different things into it, depending on what you need.
Yeah, so a bunch
that's
of
wonderful.
peripherals are available.
Yeah, and I looked at it initially and I was like, wow, that looks like it looks so small until you see it with other stuff, and it's really big. And then so those two larger buttons are programmable.
Are those buttons simply buttons, or are they like trackpads that you can like dip on.
I was wondering
direction.
about that because
They look like they would be.
They look like touch sensitive.
Yeah.
yeah,
but maybe they're
like
just-
you could treat it sort of like the Steam controller.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what it looked like to me, but I'm assuming that's not the case. I haven't
Hopefully
seen
it
anything
works better than the Steam
confirming
controller.
that.
It's really cool to see a company like putting resources into like such like it's important, but no one's really done this in the past. No one's
Yeah.
taken a bunch of resources and poured it into like accessibility for gamers that don't have the same means as everyone else. I think
But-
it's awesome.
And one of the cool things about it too is, I'll see if I can find the exact quote, but basically Phil Spencer was like, anyone who wants to use this technology, do it.
Yep. He says
Like
doesn't
it-
even have to have Xbox on it.
Yeah, like it just, if you can take stuff and make it for your own platforms, whatever, this isn't a console war thing. This is just a thing that we think it should be available to gamers. So by all means, take and use this technology and make stuff for other platforms because it's important for gamers. I think that's cool. He's a stand-up dude.
Yeah, it's great.
Phil Spencer is the homie.
Phil Spencer, the homie. No, he really has done a great job though with all of this, and I believe they're going to have more details about this probably coming up at E3, where they'll be able to share more about exactly how all the different scenarios can work, but just that they are creating so many like tool sets with this controller for all these different needs. That's going to be really tough to tackle.
So do those attachments that they're using, is that part of the like is Microsoft selling those or are they just selling the main box?
I think they're selling those too.
I think
Okay.
the peripheral
The main
is part
box
of it.
is what, $99, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's cool to me is that this goes beyond just accessibility, which is an awesome like feature in and of itself. But just think of all the setups you can make. You could make your the game you were talking about. I already forgot what it's called.
Dangerous.
Elite Dangerous. You could have an Elite Dangerous type immersive scenario for like all
Custom
kinds
setup.
of games.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other things, there's like external devices. The other things, they are sold separately.
Okay, but Microsoft is selling them?
They're made by third-party.
Third party.
Companies,
Okay.
yeah.
That's good.
No, so you may be able to get different companies creating different utilities for different games depending on what specific needs are,
That's great.
or different companies who specialize in different types of tech and hardware being able to create new, basically plugins for the adaptive controller.
That's fantastic.
And those plugins use just like audio jack ports, don't they?
Yeah, I mean that's what it's.
There was
It's a
audio jacks
3.5
and
millimeter.
USB.
Yeah,
What happens if you try to listen to the controller?
You don't want to hear what it has to say.
it'll say Laurel or.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
How topical, right?
You're welcome.
Oh, man.
Thanks for the chuckle control room. I appreciate
I
it.
hate it.
What do you hear, by the way?
Laurel. I
See-
shouldn't even give into this. I don't hear anything. It's nothing plays.
What are you hearing, John?
I'm not playing this game.
There you go. Thank
I
you.
hear what I
Thank you
listen
for
for,
being better
but
than
mostly
I'm not.
I heard Yanni the first time, and ever since I've heard Laurel.
well then.
me. I got to see.
Supposedly it has something to do with
The bass.
adjusting it.
What?
Whatever. We could talk about it
I
forever.
said to sneeze and he
You
put his
should not
hands.
let me and Adam sit next to each other if I'm ever on this show again.
I will keep that in mind.
Also, something to note with the controller, it supports Copilot, so you can sync it to a regular
That's
controller.
right, yeah.
And someone can play alongside you. So
Oh, that's great.
someone can control the movement if they want, while like someone else is playing like the more action-oriented stuff. Like
Which sounds like a fun thing to do anyway, splitting up like one character between two players.
Yeah, you almost do Let's Plays based on
Did
that.
you ever?
What's that like?
Did you ever play Brothers?
No, I didn't.
So it was the
I
game.
think I know the game. The Prison Break one, right?
No,
Yeah,
the same,
it's by
same
that guy.
maker.
Same developer. That's why it sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
it's by that guy, but it's
Doing Play Brothers.
it was an
Playing
Xbox
Brothers right now.
360 arcade game. I think it came out
Okay.
for other platforms as well. But
Thumbstick controls one
you
character.
it was two brothers, and you had one thumbstick
right.
would control one brother, and the other thumbstick would control the other brother.
Oh, okay.
So through the whole game, you're controlling two characters with the two thumbsticks. And it was just such a unique way of controlling it. You could take, like, if you were really committed to co-op, you could each take half of a controller
Yeah.
and then, like, play along. And honestly, that would probably make the game a lot easier. Because trying to
I bet.
control two people is a bit mind-bendy.
Back in the day, me and my friend who grew up together, and like probably the game we played the most was the Halo series. During like Halo 3, we got bored of just playing it normally, and we would just sit there and like one of us would be moving, one of us would be the we would each take a half of the controller and go online and play multiplayer. Not do half bad. Like we'd spent that much time playing together that it was like pretty easy to sync up.
You guys could control one of those big Pacific Rim Jaegers together.
Yes,
Are you drift compatible? Yeah. We used to do the same thing with Mario Kart with my friends up in Denton.
Oh yeah.
And it would be like one person steers and does the items, the other person is the gas, brakes, and drifting.
Some games
Works pretty well
Double
actually.
splitting the controller
dash
in
is a good
some
time.
games is a goddamn nightmare. It is a
In most games.
we did co-op with split controls, but we hooked up a driving, what is that called? A steering wheel and pedals to it. And
Oh,
a shifter.
yes.
So we played quad with a shifter and pedals and the steering wheel, and we split that up.
Oh,
man, that was a
man.
fucking goddamn nightmare. We got, I think it's 100 meters to win, and we got to, I think, we either beat it or we got to 50, and then we lost the footage, and then we had to do it all over again. And we're like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Such a guy.
But by then you had so much practice.
No. Oh, man.
So this is you guys
Does this look familiar?
trying to play this
Yeah.
game with, oh goodness. Oh, so close. Oh, look at you do. Look at you go.
Oh, see, you got the rhythm.
That was our best at the time.
Oh no,
And it's done.
face.
Not bad. Not bad. Pretty good. 14 meters.
Soul jerking.
You did so good at the walking.
Thanks.
Real
Appreciate
proud.
it.
Next up in news, Boss Key. Cliff Bleszinski's game development studio is officially shut down. It was announced earlier this week. Cliff Bleszinski posted it on Twitter just saying, as of now, Boss Key Studios is effectively no more. This is a studio that put out Lawbreakers, which was a troubled release. Cliffy B, he worked on a lot of really, really big games for Epic. I mean, he started off back in the day. He worked on Unreal Tournament. Then he was probably best known as the Gears of War guy.
I know him as the Jazz Jackrabbit guy.
Yes,
Yeah,
Jazz
that's his
Jagger. That's his
name,
first game. But he retired from Epic after the Gears of War games, and then sort of came out of retirement, started his own studio, Boss Key, and they made Lawbreakers. And when that game came out, it was a little humbling for him. Just it never passed, I think, 8,000 concurrents at launch, something like
And
that.
it dropped
that
off really
few?
quick.
It dropped off really quickly. It was a hero arena shooter. So the play felt a lot like an Unreal Tournament, something like that. But then it had the hero characters like
Overwatch.
an Overwatch,
yeah.
and just given how dominant Overwatch is in that field, it was too late
Was it,
and
well,
too similar.
Is that really like? I didn't play a lot of it, but I didn't really recognize it as a bad game.
It wasn't a bad game.
I reckon like it was
People said
like
great things about it,
There was
just no one
some
played it.
like
It just-
fantastic movement. The characters were really unique. The art design was fantastic. Like, was it really just that Overwatch had just come out and like they're just not? No one wanted to part part from
Probably.
Well,
Overwatch?
and that it
'Cause it's fucking rough.
It
dude.
didn't seem to get a lot of traction.
Yeah.
With, you know how
didn't-
sometimes a
yeah.
game will come out and it doesn't have a huge launch, but then word of mouth just
Right.
keeps going. I would argue that that's exactly what happened with PUBG.
Yeah.
It came out, it was, it had, Brendan Green's name behind it, and people from playing his previous mods would have been like, yeah, cool, and they would have been the seed. But it was developed by Bluehole. They didn't have a huge marketing budget. It just hit early access. Some people started playing it, probably that hardcore seed crowd, and then word of mouth just kept going, and it built this huge momentum. And a lot of the like media traction was, holy shit, this just hit a new milestone, and then that would just create that much more momentum. It was just this positive upward cycle, and Lawbreakers never got that.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that game had a lot of marketing either. It's kind of a shame because that was I don't want to say it was a damn good game, but it seemed like a
It
polished,
was a perfectly acceptable game.
like good looking game.
Yeah. But it
Then-
was very hard for them with that, and they most recently put out in what they called extreme early access, Radical Heights, which was kind of another follow-on for a now
Appropriate
popular
thing
genre.
to call extreme
Radical
early
Heights.
access.
Yeah.
Just because it's so early access, it will never come out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was reading that game had the Radical Heights had microtransactions before buildings had textures.
Yes, that was a bit of a joke about it, but you can now see why that is. That they put it out extreme early access, they were like basically rushing the process. I assume just to get the funds to keep the doors open.
Yeah.
And then, I heard also great things about Radical Heights. They're not for everyone, but that it had like that sort of like over the top 80s, like
that aesthetic.
BMX aesthetic, and it was like very fun, very unique that way, and did some cool things with the battle royale genre. Did I say MOBA earlier?
No.
I don't think you did.
Okay, I'm an idiot. My brain doesn't work. But so it did some fun things with the battle royale genre, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's a shame. Obviously, Gears of War was a damn good game and good series, and I'm sad to see a whole studio get shut down. But I don't know. Do you think Cliffy B will come back and make games one day? He kind of announced that he's just taking some time for himself and his family.
I mean, because the thing is, he already retired once.
Yeah.
Came out of retirement to his Phoenix rising from the ashes.
Marcus Phoenix Rising.
Except that, oh wow.
What's up, dude?
Except then it didn't go great. I think it's going to depend, at this point, probably mostly on how he's set up financially. If he's got the money to just stay retired, he would probably stay retired. If he needs to make that dollar to make that living, then we'll see him back.
Yeah, the thing is, like with Gears of War, that was such a trend-setting game, and so it kind of led the charge on like really making third-person cover-based shooters such a big genre. And then you look at Radical Heights, you look at Lawbreakers, and it's hard to say that they don't feel a little bit derivative of what else is popular at the time.
Not even a little bit. It's 100% derivative. He's chasing like the dragon that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Is that the phrase? Chasing the dragon?
It is now.
Is that about weed?
I think it's heroin.
Heroin. Not cool.
How did you even know that?
References. Don't worry about it.
He's just Googling. He's the man in the chair. He's got it.
It's a difficult thing for game development, right? Given usual game development timelines, like Fortnite Battle Royale is an extreme exception where they were able to pivot their entire game in a matter of months. That very, very rarely is possible. Usually, just like adding a feature can take months. Developing a game takes years. And if you start trying to develop something that is hot now, by the time your game gets out, it's not the flavor of the month anymore.
Or it's going to be so oversaturated that you're just white noise, which is kind of what
That happens with every genre.
MMOs.
Like MMO, MOBA.
MOBAs.
Hero shooters now. Like isn't Paladins coming out?
Horde mode.
Battle
even just
Royale,
game modes were like that.
Yeah, like Gears of War created Horde mode, didn't it?
Yeah, and then suddenly everything had Horde mode.
Well, it definitely seemed like he had a lot of unique ideas. 2 days ago, he dropped, I think, 3 concepts that he'd been trying to pitch to studios that couldn't get picked up. One of them was a game called Dragonflies, where basically you were a ninja samurai in airships riding dragons, fighting zombies with friends in a PvE feudal punk setting on floating islands.
And it
Like,
sounds
where was that
amazing.
game, right?
But they pitched it to a lot of publishers, no one would pick it up.
That's because it sounds
They're all
ridiculous.
cowards.
Well, the other one he had is a game called Dog Walkers, dog standing for Destructive Ordnance on the Ground. It was inspired by World War II tank crew battles. It was a 5v5v5v5 Zoid-looking walkers set in VR.
Oh, dude, you just said Zoids to me? Like, I'm in.
You want to fund
VR.
it?
Here I am. All right, Clippy B, let's talk. I got like $20.
Yeah,
Let's
so that's
do it.
what some of the concept art.
got 14 in my
that did
pocket.
pitched.
Yeah, but they were estimating that those games would have taken a lot more to make, and they needed a publisher to fund, and none of the publishers would sign up.
That concept art
But
is
Adam would sign up.
incredible. Cliffy B, you got some ideas, bro. That's awesome.
And then the final one he posted was a VR spiritual successor to Tubin. It was a game called Donuts, and it was basically Mario Kart on water with animals in VR.
Not as crazy about that one.
I'm not-
Zoids are way cooler.
Yeah, I'm not hearing a single thing about that I don't like, but the Zoids,
Yeah, that's not for me.
Donuts.
I mean, it could be fun.
It looks like
I have
Diddy Kong racing in
to increase immersion, I would set up in the bathtub. I would play in bathtub.
There you go.
Then it would be cool, man. Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it.
Live stream it too.
Bathtub VR.
So it is unfortunate.
The most
to
immersed
see
man
with
on Twitch.
Any
Literally
studio-
immersed in water.
Oh God. There's some serious risks there. Be safe.
Nah, it's fine.
You know,
It'd be fine.
as long as I'm not toasting toast, oven,
Or drying your hair.
hair dryer. That's the one. All right.
Anyway, it's sad to see any studio shut down.
Yeah.
This is a sad story for sure.
Definitely.
Especially given that it seems like they had some really cool ideas they couldn't get funded, and the ones they were able to get out the door just didn't get the traction that they needed to stay open.
It sucks
I
that
also-
they got like 1.5 games out. That was it.
It's 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks to see the reaction to studios shutting down because people don't like the figurehead, because there's a bunch of people's jobs. Like there's a bunch of people's livelihoods. You probably should cheer that on, even if you don't like one person in the mix.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there.
Yeah. I mean, that said, it's if you only see one person, it's really easy to associate things with just that one person and then make your judgments based off that one person.
Yeah, but that's generalizations.
Yeah, but that's just, it's what people have to grab onto.
I get it.
It's the same reason that, I think voice actors are so important to a lot of video games, and they focus a lot on the voice actors because that is the one performance you'll be able to see, see
Totally.
in a game and be like this person is
but
this character.
All I'm saying is that it's still important to see that there's a crew of actual people behind the machine.
I agree.
Yeah.
The
I think
good
it's worth
news,
calling people
at
out on
least,
it.
is that all those developers are still based in Raleigh, and so is Epic.
Great.
So, given how Fortnite Battle Royale is going, hopefully
Hey.
they are bringing people on, and then all those developers can find jobs. It's a very stressful time though, and it sucks
Yeah.
for them in the interim. Anyway, ending on a low note, I guess.
Well, we don't have to end because there's one more news story we
What's
should
that?
talk about.
Talk about
Rage
it.
2 got a
Rage
proper
2.
announcement.
Hey,
Wait, so you're
there we
super
go.
psyched about this?
No, but we should talk about it.
Oh, okay. So you're right.
I hate you. I have to pee so badly.
Oh man, this is gonna be a
She
long.
was, she
Hold
was
it.
just about to
It's gonna
end
be a long
this
Hold
thing. I've
it.
had to pee for so long.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew it was coming. It was part of the Walmart leaks,
Yes.
but I do have to say there were
Leaks.
a lot of
You hear that,
games.
John? Leaks.
Yeah, but
I'm
this
dying.
is good. It kind of makes the rest of that list look pretty credible almost.
Well, I mean, some of them there's no way Final Fantasy VII remake is coming this year,
Oh,
so
dude.
a lot of it
You'd be
is still
surprised.
speculative.
I will happily take a
Also-
Just Cause 4 though.
Also, Forza
That was on
Horizon
there.
5.
I don't see how Just Cause 4 is going to
Gotta
happen
have
if
fourth
Avalanche
first.
is also working on Rage 2.
Maybe they made Avalanche a lot bigger.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a collaborative effort between id and Avalanche, but they released a teaser. They released teaser images. They released a teaser trailer, and then they released a gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that I'm not excited for it. I think that the teaser trailer really could have rubbed people the wrong way, and I think it did. Everyone that I've talked to has been like, wow, that trailer was so lame and just seemed like people trying to reach out to the kids, and it's like, this sucks.
Like a fellow kids.
Like a fellow kids thing, yeah. But I can see it's hard. It's kind of hard to get the full attitude of the game from a trailer. So I'm going to
Sure.
reserve my judgment on that. It seems like they are trying to take that genre or that game and revitalize it with a new theme and sort of like a punky post-apocalyptic Mad Maxy kind of
Max,
feel.
yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
I
a
mean, for
million
me-
times more interesting to me than the original.
Well, the original
Oh,
was
yeah.
just like post-apocalyptic,
Just Mad Max.
like zombies and mutants, and it was kind of bland.
Yeah, based on the gameplay trailer that they put out, it reminds me of it took the Mad Max of the first Rage, mushed it together with something like Sunset Overdrive,
That's exactly the.
and then
game I
mushed
was
in
trying to
some
think of.
Borderlands.
Some Borderlands, it has definitely some bullet storm. You see them shooting people, and the people
Totally.
will fly along with the bullets as you keep putting more bullets into them. So there's some of those physics. Also, Mad Max is super apt because Avalanche made the Mad Max game, and they're working on this game.
And Mad Max is a very good game.
So I think there's actually a lot of
it was a good game.
there's a lot of
I'm not saying
promising
it's bad.
ingredients to this. I know a lot of people are saying, why would you make Rage 2? Rage was okay, but no one was asking for this sequel. But this looks like they're taking it and doing some fun things with the property.
I never really got into the first Rage, and this one, the stuff stores come out, got me interested enough to check it out.
I'm hoping that the final game, if you were to look at Bulletstorm, and you'd see these big beefy meatheads,
Meaty, beefy.
like cursing and just saying like fuck a lot and just being like, I'm badass. You'd be like, that looks really dumb. But then you actually play it and it's like, it is dumb, but in a really fun way. Like, I hope that is what this is. I hope this is really stupid, but still enjoyable, and you can get a good few laughs out of it. You know?
You know what I'm learning today?
What?
John gets really serious and really quiet when he has to pee.
It's all
You got
We have
real tell.
one more news story to talk
my
about.
brain
What?
has
Is it
my
gonna make a
brain has been
splash?
just focusing on my bladder. It's dying right now. I am a pregnant woman right now.
All right, well, we will let you go to the bathroom.
I'm sorry. I was happy to talk about the Pokemon
While we've been
until that
recording
happened.
this, they've been revealing Call of Duty Black Ops 4. How about we talk about that on New Game Plus
Oh, is there more?
for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
After
For you.
you go pee.
For you.
Okay.
So we're going to send you to the bathroom.
Good.
We're going to send you to New Game Plus. If you're a Rooster Teeth First member, we will have that on the website exclusively for Rooster Teeth First members. If you're not a First member, you can do a free trial and check it out, and then you can see all the stuff about Black Ops 4, and you'll be able to see a chipper, laughy, funny, again, able to focus on things besides his bladder, John Reisinger. It's a real selling point.
It is.
All right, otherwise, we'll see you next week.